a great confusion. I am suffering. I need urgent help from you. I surrender totally to you. And please accept me as a disciple. And as a teacher, teaches the disciple step by step, stage by stage. Please instruct me, what is that method by which we can gain prosperity? That what is the way by which we can gain? The student was asking, yet Shreya. What is the Shreya path? Now, Shreyas in English, the only translation that we can give is prosperity. But that prosperity of the English word is not the significance of the word Shreya. Prosperity in the world today, in the present system of economic system in which we are living, when they say about prosperity, means you get more than others, isn't it? The total number of units of money in circulation remaining the same. If you want to become more prosperous than others, your prosperity must bring about more poverty, isn't it? Because you must get more units of wealth. And where will it come? From others who have already got it. So your prosperity is at the expense of the sorrows and poverty of others. So the word prosperity of the modern system, modern times is not the right meaning of Shreyas. Shreyas is that which is raising the total standard of living of both the parties. Not only of the Pandavas, but our enemy lines also. The whole national upheaval, national upliftment, the entire standard of living, how it can be raised equally. And that is called Shreyas. Tell me that way by which all the people in the country will be benefited and their standard of living will go up. Explain to me that part. That is what he demanded. Now here he says, Shishyasteham, like a disciple, I surrender to you. Please, Shadhimam Tvam Prapannam. As I surrendered. And the pain, the agony that I am living, I don't find any remedy. Even if I get kingdoms not only in the earth, but also in the heavens, it is not going to be bit remove my sorrow. My pain is not for possession. There is a great mental starvation for lack of ideas. Please guide me and lead me.
So that was Gurudev explaining simple words, what is Shreyas. How to think of the upliftment of everyone. Our vision of Gurudev also was maximum happiness to maximum people for maximum time. And how he said that, prosperity is one thing, but in our prosperity, somebody else should not be going down. So together, how we lift each other, that is most important. And that is the spiritual vision. And prosperity earned with that spiritual vision is what today in management they call as the win-win principle. It should not be win and lose. And one more thing Gurudev said is that the lack of ideals. There is a mental starvation for lack of ideals. So the more we hook up to an ideal, we look up to an ideal, we live according to an ideal. So one question that one should ask, what is the ideal in my life? And how is it that I am applying this particular ideal uncompromisingly? It may be study of Vedanta, it may be realization of the truth, it may be service of the society, it may be upliftment of the nation, anything in my profession, what I have. What is my ideal, the higher purpose for which I am dedicated, to which I have surrendered, and which I live uncompromisingly. then that brings out the best in us, and that is how surrender to a higher ideal, we are able to let go of our ego, petty likes and dislikes, and ultimately purify our mind and realize the truth. So, Chinmaya Pradeep, 8 years have been many ups and downs we have seen, and actually Chinmaya Pradeep is an experiment. Nowhere else in the world in Chinmaya Mission we have an outdoor exhibition, and that too on Gurudev's life. An interesting observation has been that many people were apprehensive of it being outdoor, etc. But the outdoor structures have not given us that much challenge. The indoor structures have given us more challenge. So it has been very, in that sense, something which has been astonishing. Outdoor structures have withered all the challenges of the weather, etc. But wherever we have created indoor, whether it's Mahavakya Mandir or the meditation room, gratitude room, earth shelter, those have created more challenges for us. And in and through these 8 years, all the repairs, renovations, many things that Pradeep has gone through, Mukul Bhai has been the pillar of support to ensure that Chinmaya Pradeep is maintained very well. So we thank him and the whole family wholeheartedly. Everyone who is serving at Pradeep, Abhijit is here. As of now, he is handling entire Chinmaya Pradeep by himself. Varshaji was there earlier, and we thank both of them also. There is a team of gardeners and cleaners. We are looking out for some 1 or 2 more people to employ at Pradeep because there is a lot of work to be done. And one sincere request to all of you is, if you have anybody in mind, please inform us. Full-time work or even part-time work on a paid basis or even a voluntary basis is welcome. And also we must ensure that maximum number of study groups, Devi groups, Balvihars, they come to visit Pradeep in a year at least once. See, Pradeep is very vast. Gurudev's life, his vision is very, very vast. It takes sometimes lifetimes to even comprehend the vision that Gurudev had, to implement it. So it should not be that, okay, we have come to Pradeep once and we have seen it, ho gaya. Again and again, one must come, visit, explore the details of certain parts. Like suppose sometimes you come, just have explored the BMI chart, that circular BMI chart that has been made. Sit and do a workshop with your study group members or chicks or, Balvihar children. Hinduism tree is there. There are 30 aspects of Hinduism which are hung on the tree. If we know those 30 aspects, then we know Sanatan Hindu Dharma. Like that, we have 10 steps of knowledge. That how knowledge in the Jnana Marg, we have step-by-step progression. You can come and explore those. So, visit Pradeep, make more people aware of it. It is meant for that. Life and vision of Poojya Gurudev must reach maximum number of people. And in turn, that will inspire them, transform them. And also, Chinmaya Pradeep purpose gets served. Festival celebrations, you can come here and as a whole group organize certain festival celebrations. So many things can be done. I'm going to share now the few highlights of what has happened in the last 1 year. So last year was 7th anniversary, 11th June we celebrated. That was the Sunday last time, and I think we did it on Let Us Be Hindus. And after that, from then onwards till now, some highlights of what we have done in Pradeep. I'm just going to share that video. All right, so that was a short glimpse of various things that have happened at Pradeep. One of the most unique things that have happened in the history of Pradeep in 8 years is this present batch of Vedant course students. We have made, they could go through the whole Chinmaya Pradeep. I took some 3 sessions for them. This is the first batch that has gone through it. And right in the beginning of their course, just in a few months as it started, they went through the whole thing, and we had a few sessions, and more events are going to happen where they will take part, they will participate, they will get the experience of organizing, etc. also. As you know, there is a class also happening of all the grassroots activities. There is Shishu Vihar, there is Bal Vihar, there is Chik class, there is a study class. So I want to thank all the Sevaks and Sevikas also who are on every Sunday conducting a class, and our numbers are growing beautifully. Make people more and more aware that these classes are going on Sunday, 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock. Let people come and take part in these classes. Now, also because we have, on the Mastakabhishek day, so we did Paduka Pujas, and maximum Paduka Pujas have happened in Chinmaya Pradeep. Our Sankalp was 1008 Paduka Pujas. So I think more than 350 Paduka Pujas have already happened in Chinmaya Pradeep itself, and many of you have offered to do the pujas. This Sankalpa is going to go on up to 3rd August till we finish our 1008. What number we have reached so far? So we have 55 left to reach 1008, and that we will reach by August 3rd. So definitely we will reach. We are trying to see, as I said earlier, if we have some more people with us to serve at Pradeep, then that Sankalp will go on. Even after August 3rd, if anybody wants to continue to offer pujas, that can happen here. The kutia is there, padukas, you can continue to do on any occasion. On that day of Mastak Abhishek, we released a book called You Ask, Chinmaya Answers, 108 FAQs. And we want to thank Jayashri ji, Jayashri Iyer ji from Jayashri Rao ji from Chinmaya Mahima Zone for single-handedly ensuring that beautiful publication comes out, and it was made in just 10 days time. Many question and answers were compiled from different books of Gurudev which are not in print today. Vedanta Through Letters Part 1 and Satsang souvenirs and many such things which are not in print today. From there we had taken and compiled a beautiful collection, and in 10 days time she ensured that this happens very beautifully. So we want to thank her, and I'm going to just share as the last part of our satsang today 3-4 questions of Gurudev and his brilliant answers. So I'm going to share that part here. So you can see here, this is a very nice question. Somebody had asked Gurudev that I am trying to offer my actions to God. Can I offer him my bad actions as well? Now see, brilliant answer of Gurudev. Even if we throw all the garbage collected in a community into the fire, the blazing flames will consume everything and make it pure. Fire cannot be contaminated by anything. In fact, it purifies everything. Please remember that God has a fiery touch. He is perfect. No imperfection can demean him, nor can your beauties and glories ever add an iota of glory to his infinite beauty. A pinch of salt in a teaspoon of water can make it uncomfortably saline. But if the same pinch of salt is thrown into a swimming pool, no saline taste is added to the water. Even if our perfections, lust, passion, and cruel prejudices were offered to the Lord, the infinite perfection of the Supreme would not be dulled. Make use of God as a trash can, wherein you can empty yourself of your strengths as well as your weaknesses, your merits as well as your sins. He is eagerly waiting for them. Look at that expression, how he says that. Make use of God as a trash can. Meaning what? Dump everything and become empty. He is ever a beggar at your doorstep for the contents of your heart. Such lovely lines these are, you see. He is ever a beggar at your door for the contents of your heart. Meaning our bhavana, our intentions, they are more important. That is why Hindu gods are depicted as standing with the left palm extended outward and demanding from you your imperfections, receiving. And with the right palm raised in an attitude of blessing, the sign of giving. So this is how our Bhagwans are standing. You give, I will cleanse and purify your mind and give it back to you. The Lord showers His grace upon us and fills our hearts with His presence only when we empty ourselves by offering our all to Him. Don't hesitate for a moment. Give Him first all your weaknesses and negative tendencies, thereby heightening the beauty of your strengths and virtues. In a last act of giving, offer the Lord a garland made from your sweetness and goodness. Thus, when you are empty, you merge into Him. He alone is. Such a beautiful reply that Gurudev gives. Then how we can offer everything. You know, many people, they think that how can I go to Bhagwan? I'm already a sinner, or I have so many weaknesses, so many negative qualities, impossible for us to feel anything positive or divine. One condemns oneself, one criticizes oneself. But in Vedanta, we have no such, limitation. It is not that we are sinners and we are, damned for eternity, or we are undivine. In fact, to think of ourselves as a jiva is a mistake. We are not jivas, we are infinite consciousness. The original sin, like Gurudev would say, is to forget that I am that consciousness. And then when we think of jiva, then good, bad, everything comes into play. And so like Gurudev said, first offer the negativities, then offer away all the goodness also and come to experience oneness with the divine. Second one. So we have Krishna Bhagavan here in the Kutya. And so I have chosen one question which a lot of people have. Why did Krishna play the fool, steal clothes, and ask gopis to approach him naked with their hands upraised away from the Jamuna waters? Now see the reply brilliantly Gurudev gives. Unless you go naked unto him, he is not revealed. The self clothed in matter is the ego, and the ego cannot realize the self unless it becomes naked again. Meaning what? Panchakosha we have. We have under 5 layers. The self is as though enveloped under 5 layers. They have to be removed. Then only the self is revealed. That's the point. The ego is the gopi. She undresses on the bank, on the Jamuna banks, and enters the water to cleanse herself. Dropping our negativities and animalisms for the time being, we enter the puja room or our Guru's presence or the temple to revel in the joyous atmosphere of contemplation of the divine. After bath, the gopis used to come and wear their old clothes. Ordinary seekers, after their religious moods, take back upon themselves a good old animalistic personality. So this is what we do. We enter into the puja room, do all the puja, do all the rituals and feel pure and good at that time. But we come out and again take up all the impurities. This in Sanskrit is called that the Gajasnanam. So what is Gajasnan? So the elephant goes into the water and sprinkles and splashes water and becomes clean, and then comes on the banks of the river. And what does the elephant do? Take the mud and again put it back. What is the use of that Gajasnan? Same way, we go into the puja room, purify ourselves, come out, and again we. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean that we should stop doing the puja? No. It has a different connotation, that we stop taking on those negative tendencies when we come out. And so here he says that when this is continued, that a seeker goes every day, does the puja, does the sadhana, comes out, old tendencies again come back. But we continue this process of sadhana, then what happens? When this is continued for some time, the light of consciousness emerges out of its hiding place and steals forward to loot away the dirty bundle of false values, egoism, and selfishness. When the practice of taking regular dips in Shastra study is undertaken by the lovers of the Lord, they soon one day discovered that their old clothes have disappeared. They learn to approach the truth with their ego dress, without their matter envelopments, and the naked self, without the ego dress, without their matter envelopments, and the naked self rediscovers its own identity with the Paramatman. After this inward experience, the matter vestures are given back to them. Meaning, once the oneness is realized, again, the Jivan Muktas, the liberated ones, live with their garb of flesh and yet ever free after their Shri Krishna Darshan. It's such a beautiful reply of such a nice symbolism that Gurudev gave, and how people ridicule us that, what kind of a God you have. He steals the clothes, he steals the butter, he, dances with the gopis, but he has 16,008 wives. Many people condemn our Sanatana Dharma and they criticize us, and many people use this to even convert Hindus into other religions. Because Hindu Dharma followers, we don't know the deeper significances. And so one of the things that Gurudev did was bring these significances to us so that it is understandable by us, applicable by us in our sadhana, as well as we make people also aware that this is the deeper meaning and why Sanatana Dharma is so beautiful. So that was the second question. Then we come to the third one. This is a little deeper one in terms of a organization, in terms of the religion. So, it is said that the greatest strength of Hinduism is its breadth of outlook, and that is also its greatest weakness. In that there is very little common prescribed religious observances obligatory for all, as in other religions. Is it necessary and possible to outline certain basic minimum observances for all Hindus? Now, this question we have to understand. It is not that in Hindu culture we don't have some basic minimum observances, like Gayatri Mantra can be chanted by all, and morning, evening, Sandhya should be done. Each stage of life there are certain basic prescriptions which are given. Panchamahayagnas are given for the Grahasthis. Sannyasis have their dharma, Vanaprasthis have their dharma. So like that it is there for all. But here we feel that there is a vast amount of freedom that is there. And so that is our strength also, and that appears to be our weakness also. And see, Gurudev also gave a whole code of conduct. For Chinmaya Mission members, he has given a code of conduct. That also has, visit the temple with your family once a week, read the Ramayanas and read the Ramayana and Mahabharata. Like that, there's a code of conduct beautifully given by Gurudev. I will share it after this satsang is over. The point here is, those methods are there, but you see the vision of Gurudev when he answers this, that what is the uniqueness of Sanatana Dharma? See, somebody will have a 10 commandments, somebody will have some other things, and each religion has a certain do's and don'ts, and people just follow that. In Sanatana Dharma, we don't have like that kind of thing that everybody has to follow this one thing only, or this, one set of principles. There's a lot of freedom. Now, why that is there? See the answer of Gurudev. He says, this is a very delicate and sensitive area. In our over-enthusiasm, no one should be allowed to dash into it with any hasty remedy. Hinduism is geared to producing saints, evolving sages, and raising masters. Such a beautiful line that is. Spiritual perfection of the individual is the goal. Beautifying the mind and uplifting the vision to the highest, and thereby to come to manifest the glory and shine of the flame of existence through individuals, so as to enrich and enthrall life in the world around him. So through individual perfection, world perfection has to be achieved. And that's what Gurudev's vision is. This is the art. And indeed, art can grow only in freedom. This is the most powerful line. Art can grow only in freedom. Any evolution cannot happen by force. It can happen in freedom. Religions at their lower levels aim at organizing the society, harnessing their emotional fervor, and thus generate a kind of social militancy, which is no doubt good for political and economic well-being of a community. So see this here. He says religions at a lower level aim at organizing the society. Hindu Dharma has also done that, organize a society in certain ways, but it has gone beyond it. But the sorrows which they can spawn, because of this organization, people get very attached to certain way of thinking, certain way of living. Then what happens? You see that. The pages of history would have been cleaner but for such religions and their deadly fanaticisms. Whether it is a Christian war of the roses, actually it's supposed to be Moses, not roses. And the other religious bloody battles waged, or the Islamic wars, jihads, or the Vaishnavite and Shaivite conflicts in the south, or the feuds between Arya Samajis and the Sanatanists in the north, every one of them is an example of the confrontations that arise inevitably when religions are organized and their thoughts walled in with dogmas and rituals. Now see here, when he replies, he is very broad in his understanding and explains about all, doesn't target only a particular religion. Because this is a human problem. This is not a religious problem only. It's a human problem that we get attached to certain things and then wars are fought and that fightings happen. So he says that organizations will have these challenges when religions are organized and their thoughts walled in with dogmas and rituals. Now comes the next part, you see. I am not against organization. I am very conscious that I myself am the head of an organization with a vision, which is growing every day under my personal tireless endeavor. Organization is unavoidably needed. We need churches, mosques, and temples and such other institutions. Large masses of people congregating therein can thereby develop in their actions and thoughts a rhythm, at once loving and divine. But in prescribing these strict religious schemes of service, we must grow truly sensitive to feel how far we should go. This is important. Certain disciplining is required, certain meticulous following of certain principles is required, but it should not become fanatic. They should not become too insistent to destroy the spontaneity in the seeker, as they do in many other religions. That's why we have so much variety. It will not destroy. It will give various avenues. Suppose I don't connect with a certain form or a certain practice, then Hindu Dharma has so much more variety. I can choose anything that I like. It is not that this has to be done by force. Then evolution can't happen by force, you see. So he says that it should not destroy the spontaneity in the seeker, as they do in many other religions. Those who do not any longer need the warm protection of a religious institution must be able to walk out of its motherly embrace and seek their own independent, fuller expressions in the quest divine. This is a very powerful line. Tell me how many religions give that type of a freedom, that you can walk out of that religion having experienced its benefits, its beauty, and then you say that I want to grow out of it to seek something more. Hindu Dharma has. Actually, Sanatan Dharma has every aspect. So even if you walk out of it, you will be still under it, because from the the simplest to the subtlest, everything is covered by Sanatana Dharma. But the point is, there is so much freedom for a seeker to choose. Not every religion has that type of a freedom. Most of them bind seekers. And in a way, it is required, but at a point that has to be transcended. That transcendence aspect is not there in many religions, that is there in Sanatana Dharma. So now he concludes saying, I believe the present system is more than sufficient for this purpose. All that we need is a team of intelligent, educated interpreters who can update the truths of our philosophy and religious texts to the thought patterns of our own time. So make it adaptable. This is the Smriti part. Shruti are the Vedas and Smritis are those which are adapted to the changing times in a society. That is why our Sanatana Dharma has survived, continues to grow and flourish, because it has kept up with times. Otherwise, we would have also been fanatic, and that which does not change, that which does not adapt, nature wipes it out. That's a law. And you will see in a few decades or even centuries, certain religions which are absolutely fanatic, they will be wiped out, absolutely wiped clean. It may appear that they are conquering the world today, but in the march of time, it's a very small period. 100 years, 200 years, 1000 years is a very small period in the great grand march of time and creation. That which does not adapt will definitely get completely extinguished and extinct also. And so it's very important that, as Gurudev says here, that we need that adaptation, and that is what the great masters have been doing. Like you see, if Gurudev, Vivekanandaji, Anandamayi Ma, so many of them, time to time such masters come and they adapt Sanatana Dharma to the present times. So that's what he says here. If this is the long-term plan of training such a cadre of priests, then as a short-term policy, I will strongly recommend that such literature in the form of leaflets and pamphlets may be got ready and distributed to the masses through the temples, meaning of the adapted way in which we can live the Sanatana Dharma, that we should give to all the people as a part of the usual prasad, especially during the sacred days and festive occasions. So I'm going to work on this, and in Chinmaya Pradeep, whoever is going to come, we will give a certain printout and handout to them, whereby they can live Sanatana Dharma in their own house, in their own ways. So that we will take up from this 8th anniversary. That is our sankalp today, that following this vision of Gurudev. He who would go in for novel experiments must begin with himself. That leads to a quicker discovery of truth. God always protects the honest experimenter. So this is a beautiful reply that Poojya Gurudev gave. So I wanted to share these beautiful thoughts. So it is the war of the roses, possible, yeah. But there was a war because of for Moses also. So both may be there. So today, 8th anniversary, we renew our commitment to Poojya Gurudev's life, his vision, his work. And through Chinmaya Pradeep, may we reach it to more and more people. And Pradeep means the lamp. So may the lamp of inspiration continue to grow, continue to glow in our own life. And through that lamp, may we light many more lamps and fulfill the vision of Poojya Gurudev. Hari Om. Thank you very much. Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Yeah, code of conduct I'm just sharing on the meeting group. So I will go through it also just now. I'm going to share this here. You check it in your this chat box. This is the code of conduct that I've shared, and now I'm sharing it on the screen just so that we learn to follow that. Chinmaya Mission, how much Gurudev has spoon-fed us. You see, he gave us the vision also, the motto also, the pledge also. Now this is the code of conduct. So what does he say in this code of conduct? By thought, word, and deed, every member of Chinmaya Mission should try to live up to and fulfill the motto as well as the pledge of the mission. So that is the first thing. He should spare time daily to do meditation and scripture study. Once a week on any convenient day, he must offer worship at a nearby temple with the members of his family. Nowadays we say, that the family that prays together stays together. Gurudev gave it in those times. With the family, go to the temple. That will help the family to bond with the temple, to do the spiritual sadhana, to train the senses. That will also help that temple. More and more Hindu community members go together to the temple. Such a powerful exercise it will be. And go there and ask questions so that the temples can once again become centers for learning. Then he says he should discover a life of harmony first at home. It is expected of him that he does not on any account create any domestic unhappiness. So beautiful it is, you see. We may be angry, upset, we don't do work at home, we don't serve people, but then we come out and do social service. That doesn't help. Domestic life must have harmony. If there are children at home, he will have at least once a week a satsang at home, consisting mainly of members of the family, wherein reading of itihasas like Ramayana and Mahabharata or Puranas like Bhagavata, in a language the children know, would form an important part. So every week one satsang with the family and going to the temple with the family. Two things that are so important. When he meets another mission member, he greets him with Hari Om. Nowadays, very important. Otherwise, people are saying, hey, bro. What is bro? Just say Hari Om, Baba. Such a nice way to greet. Daily offering of pranam to the elders in the house by the younger ones should be followed and inculcated by the mission members. Such a simple, beautiful code of conduct. We should all take a pledge nicely to just follow this. How do we adapt to the present times? For example, all these, what code of conduct I gave, that we can, Gurudev gave, that we can follow. And then various other things which we can do to adapt, Like we were doing yajnas in those earlier days. Agnihotra, etc. was being done. Even today we can do in a simpler way. There are people who teach the Vedic way to do the Agnihotra. We can follow that. We can do mantra japa. Sadhana wise, we can follow all those things. For the present times, if we can't do 108, minimum people, the scripture says do, it said 1,000 times japa if you do, that is the best. 100 times is mediocre. 10 times is the lowest. So minimum 10. If we feel that life is very busy, very hectic, adapt it, do it 10 times. Wherever possible, do 108 times. So adapt it to one's own situation, but choose one Ishtadevata, choose one book, do the satsang daily, celebrate festivals as per today's scenario, but with retaining the essence. Like how many people celebrate Deepavali in a traditional way? How many people celebrate Holi in a very traditional way? Most of the time our festivals have become, ways of only enjoyment through some drink and dance and then go out and celebrate in some hotel or travel out. And where is the spiritual aspect of it? Where is the cultural significance? Where is coming together in a congregation and celebrating in a spiritual way, in a congregation? Otherwise, people come together for Holi, play colors in a congregation. But what is the spiritual aspect of Holi? Prahladji's Charitra. How much do we study? How much do we think about what is the victory of faith over fanaticism because of Prahladji's life? So like that, festivals can be celebrated in our own ways. We can add modern aspects to it, retaining the depth and the beauty. So like that, we need to think which are the areas, how to adapt. Gotra system. How many people even know their own Gotra? Who is the Rishi of that? Who is the Rishi to whom I belong, what is my Gotra, what are the details of that Rishi, know about the origin of that Rishi or the stories, the great achievements of that Rishi, how their blessings are with us even today, many things like that. So we have to learn first, then apply in our system today and overcome the challenges that we have. That will happen only when we are passionate about our Sanatan Dharma and then we want to do some things. And one by one, we can learn to apply. We don't have to apply everything at the same time. Study the scriptures, study Ramayana, Mahabharata, the originals. How many of us have gone to the book, the source? We keep reading adaptations and, creative expressions of all these. But what is written in Valmiki Ramayana original? If we go into that, Gita Press books are there, Vivek Debroy's book is there, for Mahabharat, Kisari Mohan Ganguly's translation is there. All that is literally beautifully there as per today's modern times. We can read. So that's how we have to adapt to today's situation. Once we study, we can understand, adapt, retain the core principles, make other changes to make it more palatable, enjoyable to everybody, and then live that. So that's what it is. And may we all continue to grow in our individual sadhana, contribute to our Sanatana Dharma, make our country great, and fulfill the vision of Poojya Gurudev. Thank you very much for joining us. And do come to Pradeep again and again. Hari Om. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.